Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you how to make Keema Macaroni. This is a really easy recipe and it's made with lots of different vegetables, making it great for kids. The full recipe with measurements is in the description box of this video. Firstly, heat the oil in a saucepan and once warm, add in the diced onions. Soften the onions on a high heat for a few minutes. And then add in half the salt. Mix this in really well and continue to cook the onions until they're golden brown. After around 10-15 minutes, the onions will be lightly golden. At this stage, you want to add in the cumin seeds and cook for just a couple of more minutes. As you can see, the onions should now be a nice golden brown colour. You then want to add in some chilli powder. If you're making this for children, you can leave this out and just add a little black pepper. Mix the chilli powder in really well with the onions. You can turn the heat down a little to avoid the chilli from burning. You then want to add in the mince and brown off on a high heat. As the meat cooks, make sure to break any big lumps of meat down with the back of a wooden spoon. As the mince turns brown, add in rest of the salt and continue to cook until all the mince is brown. I'm also adding in some garlic granules and ginger powder. You can use fresh, but this sometimes becomes overpowering for children, so only use a little if you're going to. I'm still continuing to break down any big lumps of meat, as it will become harder to do this afterwards. Once the meat turns fully brown, you will see some water appear. If you squeeze in the middle, you can see like this in the saucepan. You want to dry this water out on a high heat for 2 minutes. If you dry this water out, it will help to remove the smell of the meat, which can sometimes linger in dishes. You can now see that when I'm pressing in the middle, most of the liquid has now reduced. You now want to add in 250 milliliters of boiled water. Mix this in really well and simmer with a lid for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, turn up the heat and start to evaporate the liquid. At this stage, you also want to add in half the pasta sauce. Mix this in really well and continue to reduce the liquid for a few more minutes. As you can now see, most of the liquid has now reduced. You can now start adding in the vegetables. I'm firstly going to add in diced bell peppers as they take longer to cook. I'm now also adding in the garam masala and coriander powder. Adding the coriander powder at this stage will also help to reduce any liquid left in the saucepan. Mix this in really well and continue to cook on a medium to high heat for a few more minutes to soften the peppers. If you want to add in any other vegetables into this pasta, you can do, just make sure to add in the ones that will take longer to cook in at first. After a few minutes, add in the chopped green chilies, green peas and sweet corn. Mix this all in really well and cook for a few minutes on a medium to high heat. Once you've added in the sweet corn and green peas, you only want to cook for a few minutes until the green peas are softened. I'm using frozen, so they just take about 2 to 3 minutes. Once all the vegetables have been cooked in really well with the mince, the mixture should look a bit like this. You now want to add in the rest of the pasta sauce from earlier on. Mix this in really well with the mince and vegetables. Leave to simmer on the side for about 5 minutes whilst you cook the pasta. In a deep saucepan, bring the water to the boil and add a little oil. and salt. Mix this in really well, and once boiling, add in the pasta. Cook the pasta according to the packet instructions. This usually takes about 6 to 8 minutes on a high heat. Check that the pasta is cooked and then drain the water out and leave aside in a separate bowl. Return back to the mince filling and add in cherry tomatoes. I've chopped this up to make it easier for kids. Mix this in really well and cook for 1 minute. You then want to add in half the drained pasta and mix this in really well with the mince and vegetables. I prefer adding in half the pasta as it makes it easier to mix. I'm now adding in the rest of the pasta and mixing this in really well. This portion serves about 8 adults, so you can halve this recipe if you don't need this much. I'm now adding in oregano and some mozzarella cheese. I'm now mixing in the cheese really well to make sure that it gets melted evenly throughout the whole mixture. You can now turn off the heat and finish with some freshly chopped coriander. If you like this recipe, make sure to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Make sure to press the bell notification so you can be the first to be notified about all my upcoming videos. You can also follow me over on my official Instagram and Facebook page, Foodatives. The links are in the description box of this video.